Welcome back to the plant room for another planty video. If you're new here, I am Cheyenne and this is the Patronus plant room. Today I need to get my succulents and cacti ready for the summer growing season, and I have a bunch I need to repot. I think I have like 9 or 10 plants I think all together. And I'm also going to be checking over the rest of my collection just to make sure that everything is ready to grow this summer. Before I start repotting, I want to quickly go over what I mean by summer prep for my cacti and succulents, because it really is just a few simple but important steps that you should take every year, especially if you have a decent amount of cactuses or succulents. For most of these plants, summer is their active growing season, which means they're starting to wake up, push new growth out, and use water and nutrients a little more efficiently than they do in the winter. So this is the time I like to, refresh old and compacted soil, check, the root health from winter dormancy, move plants into slightly brighter light if needed. And I like to make sure that the pots and drainage are all set up for faster drying when the temperature rises. A lot of these guys I'm actually more repotting as well because they are newer, on top of just like the cactus succulent refresh. I have some that I've had for a little while, and some that are kind of just like pretty new, but need to have some better soil before summer starts. It's also when I'll start adjusting watering again, since soil tends to dry out a lot faster in warmer months, especially once they're getting more light. Not everything necessarily needs to be repotted every year, but for succulents and cacti that have been growing and recently added to the collection, this is kind of the perfect reset point for this full summer growth to kick in. There are plenty of cactuses or succulents that only like to be pre-potted every few years. Like over here I have my rickrack cactus, and you can't really see it very well. I have one right here too actually. So I have my rickrack cactuses. These generally only like to be repotted like every, I think it's like 3 to 4 years. And so they are finally due for the most part, but then there's some that like to be repotted like every single year, like this moon cactus. I think they like to be repotted a little more frequently each year to renew the fertilizer in the soil. But today is just going to be a mix of repotting, root checks, and just general plant maintenance to get everything set up for the season. And alright, I'm gonna go ahead get started with these first 2 plants here. Let me go ahead and get everything set up, and I will get these guys repotted first and just kind of go over some plant care and more information about each one as I go. Alright, I got my repotting mat. Put this back out. I'm also going to zoom in some so you can get a better view of the plants as I'm going. Alright, the first 2 plants I'm going to be repotting are these 2 here. They are called Christmas Carol Aloe, and they're just so cool with the colors. The colors and the spikes and everything. It's just super pretty. And so one of these is for me. This one here I've had for about 2 months now. And it is just time to get it ready for summer and give it some fresh soil, since it is kind of new and it has some babies coming out, and I'm just ready to see it grow super big. And then this one is actually going to be a gift for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day, which is this coming weekend. I haven't had this one for too long, as I got them right after the wedding in April, so it's only been here for maybe 2 weeks now, but I want to get it prepared for summer as well, so it is ready to go to its new home, and so my mother-in-law doesn't have to worry about anything but watering it for at least the first year. And I'm going to go over some care info for these guys while I repot them, and then we can kind of just chat as I go as well. I'm going to go ahead and start with mine. Oh goodness. Oh my gosh. I'll zoom in a little more to show you. Look at all of that. That is just some craziness there with those babies. Okay, I'm gonna sit right there. Zoom out just a little again. There we go. Okay. Alright, so these Christmas Carol cactuses, they do like full sun, but they can tolerate part sun as well. And they also like, you know, bright windowsills. I've been keeping mine for the past couple months on a south facing window in my kitchen. I do let it dry out fully between watering, as these are cactuses. Sorry, these are succulents. Because they are succulents, they don't like a crazy amount of water. And I'm just going to get all this off of here since these are newer plants to the house. I'm just going to try and get a decent amount of this soil off. And these guys, they do like well-draining sandy soil. So I'm going to be making a mix here shortly for it. And while you're repotting your succulents or cactuses for the summer, there's a few things you kind of want to do. You want to check the roots for health and looking for any kind of pests. Right now, this guy is looking pretty good. You can see here it's got lots of roots and the little babies, and I'm not seeing any pests on it, so that's a good sign. You also want to remove the dense nursery soil, which is kind of what I'm doing now, because they do want their good or succulent cactus kind of soil mix that they like. And I've personally always been one that's had a harder time with succulents and cactuses in general. I'm a little more water happy, which is why tropical plants, you know, like me so much. I pay too much attention, if anything, to my plants. But, you know, lately I have just kind of been learning the way to take care of them, because I just think they're just so cool. And I do have some that don't mind the environment that they're in. Oh boy, okay. They actually, you know, do pretty well. Like, I've had my rickrack cactus here for since the beginning, so it's been 3-ish years now, a little over 3 years, or maybe just around that. I've also had an aloe since the very beginning, and that one's never given me too many problems because it's a bigger one. I'm trying to think. Oh, and I also have mother of thousands, quite a few of those. I also do have a string of hearts, but that one I cannot say it likes me all that much. Here, let me show you this guy really quick, because these roots are also really crazy. There we go. Look at all of those. Oh. Just going insane. And this one is pretty dense, so I don't know how much of it I'll actually get off there. Let's see. And some fun facts about this guy here. The brighter the light that you give these guys, the more red coloration it'll get. So right now these ones were at the grocery store, just kind of tucked away, and they weren't really getting any light. So they're just only mostly green, and then only have the little bit of red around the edges here on the spikes. But if you give it some good bright light, that coloration will keep coming out. Because say this one I just brought back from the store a week, within the last week or two. And this one has been here for a while, and you can see you can see this one though has a lot more red around the edges than this one, and that's just because this one's been getting a lot of sun as it's been here for a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and leave this one. It seems like it's gonna give me a difficult time getting this soil off because it's so dense and dry. But I think it'll be all right. Just got that there. Okay, we got those guys there. They both look good. I'm gonna go ahead and get them in bigger pots. this one for my mother-in-law, my husband. My husband printed this one for my mother-in-law because he wanted her to have a cool, here, I'll zoom out some so you can see it better, a cool 3D pot. He designed and printed this. It's really pretty. And I will have a link down below for you guys that do have 3D printers, because he does have the file up online. But yeah, I'm going to put this one in here. Well, I'm going to put it in this pot here, and then I'm going to put it into here. So I'm going to do that really quick after I make the soil. I also need to get a pot for this other one as well out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make the soil mix that I'm going to use for this one. I'm going to go ahead and make the soil for. I do have some succulent cactus mix here. This is just a basic mix. It's just some Miracle-Gro cactus succulent soil mixed in with some large grain sand for aeration. But these guys do like extra sand in their mix, so I'm going to take some of this here. You can kind of see it's got lots of aeration. Goodness, okay. And then I'm going to just take some of this extra large coarse sand I have, and I'm going to add just some extra to that. I think that's a pretty good ratio. So I'm going to put this stuff back, and then we can go ahead and repot. I think that's enough. If I need to, I can make more really quick, but we will find out. Alright, so first I'm going to take mine, and I'm going to go ahead and put some soil in there. Might need more, we'll see. This might be only enough for this guy. I'll definitely need more. Alright, that's alright. I will do that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and make more soil just really fast. And it's okay if I have extra, because I'll probably use using it for other plants too. Or absolute worst case, I can just mix it back into the succulent mix I have there. Again, I'm gonna mix it up. Making sure the babies aren't covered too much. A little pokey stick for this guy. Just need to finish getting the soil on this side. Alright, There's one guy. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in some water to soak because it was pretty dry. Let's put this one over here while I do this. I'm gonna just do the same thing to this one. Also, I am sorry if there's any crazy background noises. I do have the cats out again, as I am in the living room. And that's also the washer, her dryer going off now. I also have the windows open because it is a pretty spring day right after we've had some crazy weather. Some snow in May, which is even crazy for us here. But yeah, so if there's any weird noises, there's a lot going on today in the house, so just bear with me. Alright, now I got this other guy done for my mother-in-law. So I'll water that one too here in just a second. I think this one is actually good. So we'll do this. There we go. Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up the mess that I have going so far. And we will move on to the next one. Actually, I am going to put this too, this little care tag, back into the plant here for my mother-in-law, just so she has that. I know she does have a few houseplants, but when I'm giving someone a plant, I always like to include the instructions or something, just so they know how to take care of it. Right, next I am repotting my ruby necklace, or it is also known as a String-of-Rubies. I have had this guy here for a few weeks now, and I just want to get it into some fresh soil and to take a look at the roots since it's had some time to acclimate. And also, as I'm looking at it, I'm just noticing it doesn't look like it's doing very good. I'll show you guys in up close. But as I'm looking at it, I'm noticing it is actually not doing very good. So I'll show you guys up close. There's quite a few. It looks like some rotting. Let's see if I can just show you. There we go. You can see like there's this like icky bit here. There's some dry stems. And like this guy here looks like he's going out. So I'm gonna go ahead and repot it and see what's going on. And again, I'll go over some care info as I'm going. So, the ruby necklace, it is pretty dry. They are a trailing succulent, and they do love bright light and prefer like south-facing windows. Goodness, okay, go to town on this guy. They're like south-facing windows that do receive, about 6 hours of direct light a day. And honestly, I don't think I've had this thing in a bright enough spot, so maybe that's part of what's going on. Oh my goodness. I'll just put the rotten pieces in here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this looks like this guy's gonna need a whole overhaul. I'm just gonna kinda this. Gotcha. Looks like this whole side is having a lot of problems. I can tell if this one's okay. guess not, but I think can be rescued. Maybe for propagation there. Anyways, sorry, I am just getting distracted by this guy. But yeah, they do like, you know, bright light with 6 hours of like direct sun. And if you put them outside, they do like, you know, like partial to full sun. I don't think they'd like it too much if you put them in like a super bright spot. Oh my goodness. Mine is currently though in my bedroom, and I like I'm just saying, I don't think that's bright enough for it now that I'm looking at this. It has an east facing window, and it was sitting a little bit back from the window, so I should probably move it. I'll probably put it in the window in here in the kitchen. I think this might be a whole almost propagation plant. We'll find out here in a sec. But yeah, I might put it out on the back porch too when it gets warmer, because our back patio is east facing, but it gets a lot of good sunlight throughout the day. So I think that this one would do good if I put it in a spot where the sun's gonna shine on it and hit it. Sorry if you can't see very well. This is kind of a mess over here. There we go. But from what I've heard, these guys do turn like super red in the sun, so that is pretty exciting to see. They do need super bright conditions and need to be like pretty happy, and then these little leaves here will turn red like the stem is. And they also do need to dry out pretty thoroughly between watering. You know, they are a succulent, so those do prefer to be underwatered rather than overwatered. This section looks like it's doing pretty good. Just gonna kind of give it a good hand. And they are, you know, more drought tolerant. So like I was just saying though, if you need to, it's better to underwater than overwater, because most of the time succulents are a little more forgiving to underwatering than they are overwatering. There we go. I think that should be good. So we have these few strands here that look pretty healthy, and still have some roots. And then we have a couple strands over here that aren't very healthy. We got like these random little guys that I'll throw in the soil in case they want to propagate. These guys also do prefer a pretty light feeding schedule. They like to be fertilized a few times a year during growing season. I'm gonna go ahead and get the soil for this one together. And for this guy, I'm gonna be using the same soil right here. And I'm gonna put it, ouch. I'm gonna put it in a smaller pot, I think, just because of the current situation. So I'm just gonna put those in here in the trash pile. I'm gonna take some of these little babies off because I know that they can kind of just be thrown on to propagate. Make a smaller pot. Let's see if I have one. I think what I might actually do, let's see. I think I'm gonna put like these two, or these ones that are doing pretty good, in this little pot here. And then I'm gonna put the ones, I'm gonna put the ones over here in their own little pot, and I'll put these ones in their own pot so they have some space to just root and not to be in too big of a pot. So I'm gonna put some of this. I'm sorry, my voice just got super raspy. My allergies have been going crazy lately, and you know, of course, having my windows open doesn't exactly help, but I do just like to have my windows open, so I just have to let my body deal with it. I'm gonna put these two in a pot. Some of these, sorry, you can't see me very well. I'm just struggling a little bit. There we go. Couldn't get it to focus there for a second, but I'm just trying to do this and it's not cooperating. So I think I'm gonna put a little bit more soil in here actually, I think. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna poke a little hole. I'm gonna just kind of dip this down in there some, like that. I think this one is pretty dead there, so I'm gonna take it off. Now these guys, they do like well-draining cactus and succulent soil. They usually prefer some added like pumice or perlite or sand, something to give it some more aeration. And they also do prefer to be a little more root bound, which is another reason I'm kind of putting it into a smaller or two smaller pots rather than one big pot, just so they don't have as much room and they are a little more root bound. And these ones they do only like to be repotted every few years, rather than like other succulents and stuff over every single year. They just prefer it every couple years when they're root bound and when they need it. Yeah, and like I was saying before, these guys, they do turn pretty red if you put them in good, adequate, like bright light, which is pretty cool. So I'm hoping I can see that some this season, depending on how these guys do with these current issues. There we go. That's alright. I'm gonna just lay some of these on there like that. Okay. So I'm just gonna leave this one. It's kind of hard to show, but like that. It's got a few just beans on top with some stem to propagate. This one here is I'm gonna try and let it propagate. It still looks okay-ish, but it's pretty saggy and sad because it didn't have any roots. So we'll see. But this side my camera is wanting to be super difficult with focusing on this plant because of all the little pieces. But yeah, it's also got these few healthier pieces on this side. So we'll see how it does. So that one's there. Just set it over here. Now it's in a cute little pot. See, there we go. Put it over here. And then I'll put the rest of these in another little guy. I'm gonna use just this. And for this, I'm just using the leftover pots from the aloe that I just repotted. So that is helpful. These guys do have a little bit more roots, so I'm gonna do that there. Add this guy like that. And then I'm going to put this guy in the top. It needs to propagate as well. I think it'll work. Just gonna put this there. A little bit of a mess, but that's okay. Okay, looks like I'm gonna actually need just a little bit more. I think it's okay since this stuff already has some added sand to it and stuff. I'm just gonna use some of the sandier parts so I don't have to keep mixing it. And this one did already have mostly enough soil. Just needs a quick little top off. Okay. There we go. That should be good. And then I'm going to go ahead, poke this guy down in the soil like that. And I'm just gonna also again sprinkle some of these baby beans across the top. There we go. All right, that one's a little bit easier. But as you can see, it's got a few healthy strands and a couple that need to be propagated, and then just a few little strands or little beans on top as well. So that's those guys. I'm gonna clean up again, and then we can move on to the next plant. I'm gonna get the brush. just a quick shot. I have this one here in this little white pot. And then I'm gonna put this other one in this little skeleton pot I have here. It doesn't fit perfectly or anything, but yeah, those just look super cute. They're little danglies. I'm gonna water them, but I'm just gonna water them in the pots here. I'll let that one sit for a little bit without water. And then I'm gonna get this one water, and then we'll be back with the next plant. Okay, next I am going to repot this patchy podium, I believe is what it's called. They also call them Madagascar palms. I picked up this guy a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month ago now, while filming my April plant shopping video that I posted. I think it's been about a week or so since I posted that, if you guys want to watch it. But it seems like it's doing good, but I just want to get it some fresh soil and check it out and see that it's doing okay. Okay, can you get a good look at it? Here it is. It's just a cute little guy with some little leaves. I'm gonna go ahead and repot it and go over the care details like we have been. And it can be a confusing plant because it's a bit wet. Even though it looks like a palm, and it does get called the Madagascar palm, it is technically a succulent. And they do like bright, direct sun, and prefer as much sun as possible. At least like 6 or more hours of sun daily. Some direct light is the best. So south-facing windows are highly suggested. I do currently have this guy in my south-facing windowsill, and it gets lots of sun up there. So I think it is enjoying it. I might put it out on the back patio this summer as well. Get that extra light and warmth that it is used to. These guys do also like to let dry out completely between waterings. They are like succulents in that way, like other succulents, I guess. They like to be pretty dry, and they need less water in the winter than they do during the growing season. So it is definitely good to keep an eye on your watering routine with these guys. Here he is, his roots. The soil is pretty wet, but I did water it a little just before doing this because the last few were really dry. And I know that's a lot harder on roots for them to be super dry when repotting. Let me get my hand cleaned up and we can carry on. Alright, and then these guys do prefer a very fast draining soil, such as cactus mix with extra perlite, pumice, or gravel. I am going to be using my succulent cactus mix that has the coarse grained sand in it. And then I am going to also mix in some of my chunky Grow Queen soil that has, pumice and lava rock and such. They also do want to make sure that these guys are in a snug pot because they do prefer to be more root bound. So yeah, I'm gonna take some of this soil. Again, this is just some cactus succulent soil with some extra coarse grain sand. You can see it here, kinda. Maybe here, let me move this. There we go. You can see that there, and it's pretty coarse. Then I'm going to take just a little bit of my Grow Queen house plant soil that I have talked about in previous videos. I do just love this stuff, and it's super chunky, so I think that'll be a good mix. There we go. now some like nice coarse mix. And these guys, like I was saying earlier, they do like tight, snug fits. And so you don't want to size up the pot too fast. Really only going up 1 or 2 sizes at a time. And the pot should only ever be like 1 inch or 2 bigger than the root ball. So you can see here that this pot that it was in is it's a little bit of a snug fit. It could be snugger, honestly. So let me see. I honestly think I'm just gonna put it back in this pot with just some fresh soil. It does still have like 1 inch or 2 on the bottom. I don't think you can really see that, but where between this spot and the bottom, there's at least 1 inch or 2. You can see kind of like that there. So I think it'll be okay for now. I can always repot it again if it gets really root bound and needs it. So I'm just gonna get some of this stuff. And then some little fun facts about these Pachypodiums or Madagascar palms. Despite the name Madagascar palm, these guys are not a palm at all. Like I said earlier, they are actually a succulent. And they also store water in this thick trunk that they have. They are native to very dry, sunny climates. I think that's partly where it gets the Madagascar palm name, because I'm not 100% sure, but if they came from a place like Madagascar, that would make a lot of sense. And they do like bright light, and it helps them keep their growth compact and healthy over like light amounts of light, if that makes sense. Another thing with these guys is they do tend to drop leaves when they are stressed out. So you want to try not to stress them out too often. These are ones that once they start getting bigger, you do want to wear gloves with as well, because they have these pokey spines. And as they get older, from what I've seen in pictures, they definitely are sharp and a little scary. I just like to use my little trusty stick here when repotting, because it works pretty well to get the soil around the edges of like the roots, or in these cases when you're working with small plants, it just helps where you can't really fit your finger to compact soil when needed. Okay, so give this guy a little more and then we should be good. Had a little pokey try and get me there. Alright, there we go. Alright, I got this guy all potted up now. You can see it doesn't look much different considering I just changed out this soil. But that last soil, it was really like thick. I think it was like mostly like peat moss or something. So this should be a lot better for the plant, so it's not staying super wet all the time. And then I'm gonna put it just back in this little pot. I have it here in just my little crab pot. It doesn't fit perfectly, but it's just super cute. So here. I mean, it's just adorable. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up again, and then we'll move on to the next one. I think we still have at least 5 or so, so I'm gonna keep trying to move through for you guys. Alright, next is going to be my, I believe it's called the Fukuro cactus or something like that. It is also known as a booby cactus. If you can't tell why, you can just kind of look at those growths. Oh, the camera is not wanting to focus very well today. There we go. All right, but yeah, I got this one at the same time as last plant, my Pachypodium, while plant shopping last month in April. And it's been happy and living on my windowsill in the kitchen with the other plants. And I think it grew just a little bit since I've gotten it. My camera just doesn't want to focus on it today. 1 second. I'm just gonna bring it back maybe a little. Alright. Maybe, I think its problem is it's trying to focus here on the name tag. So I'm gonna flip it around. And now you may notice there's like a missing piece right here, and it doesn't have a lot of soil, so it's looking a bit rough right now. Last night it took a little bit of a tumble off of a shelf after, you know, just a little bit of an accident. I had it in a different spot than usual, right by our back door, because I moved it out of the window with the cold front. I'm gonna take it out of there. I moved it out of the window because it had a cold front coming in, because we got some snow here in May even. So I decided to move it out of the window, and my husband didn't even notice until after he had bumped into it and heard the crash. And he even originally only thought he knocked over a pot because he didn't see this guy on the ground. So it looks a bit rough, and like I said, it's missing a piece there. And I actually noticed there is a boob coming off here too. I don't know if it's gonna make it, so I'm gonna leave it for now and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it is okay. I mean, I was going to go ahead and repot it today anyways, so no real harm done other than some damage maybe. It's got a few banged up tips here, and it's not looking the best right now, but hopefully it'll just bounce back. And yeah, but here, I'll show you the damage if I can. So, if you look right here, there's a missing piece. There's this guy here. You can kind of see where it broke off underneath. And I think it's going to pop off eventually. It might not make it. And then there was, oh yeah, oh my gosh. Right here, this one got a bit just dented out of shape. But I think otherwise it's fine. So hopefully it just bounces back with no real problem. But all right, I'm gonna start repotting it. I'm gonna get some of this soil off. I'm not gonna do too much to it, just to be safe, since it did just go through a lot of stress. I think I'm just gonna try and get some of the just old soil out, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and repot it. But yeah, some care info on this guy. They do prefer bright, direct light, like a south or west facing window, but it is good to avoid extreme scorching sun. This is another one of the cactuses that are in the window in the kitchen over here where it, oh, ouch, poked myself. But yeah, it is in the window that is a south-facing window, and it gets a lot of sun. It might be another one I put out on the back patio this summer. We will see. They do like to let or be completely dry between watering. They are prone to rot, just like most other cactuses. They don't like to be too wet. That's good. I'm not going to do too much to it, like I said. It's been through a lot, so I'm going to try and keep it on the easy end for it today. And I'm going to be using this mix again because they do like fast draining potting mix. And so this one is the succulent cactus soil with some extra large grain sand that you just saw me add. And some just a little bit of the Grow Queen soil that has the chunky pumice and lava rock, because these guys do like their soil to mimic its natural, like, arid, rocky environment. So let me decide. I'm gonna put this one in a bigger pot for sure. Let's see, I might have to go grab one. I'm going to be using, I think, this pot. It was used before, but, you know, that's okay. I do like to reuse them. So that should give it a little bit of room to grow. You know, I do wish I knew where the one piece that fell off last night went, because from what I've heard is that you can try and propagate them straight from those pieces. But I think that when my husband cleaned up the soil, because I was getting ready for bed, he might have thrown it away because it was just all kind of together. And it was a smaller guy too. But that is okay. Maybe if one of these other guys come off, I will try and propagate it, just to see, because these guys are really cool and I do like the look and shape of them. This is this is a cactus that's been on my wish list for quite some time, ever since I saw it, I don't know, a couple years ago now. And for the longest time, it was just kind of one of those unobtainable ones unless I ordered it or spent a decent amount of money on it. And I just personally don't like to buy plants when you have to order them and spend a whole bunch of money unless it's something I really want. I'd rather just wait for it to come into stores, because it almost always happens with at least the really high desired plants. Like this guy, I waited a couple years and then I found it now. Now you can find them at Walmart for really cheap, and this is how I got this guy. He was like $7. And I mean, just a few years ago, like even 2 years ago, I saw this guy at my local plant nursery and they were like, I don't know, 20 or 30, but they were a lot bigger. Oh, ouch. Keep getting myself poked. But yeah, like I do that a lot. Like there was a Thai constellation thing and I just refuse to pay hundreds of dollars for a plant. I love the way a lot of those plants look, but right now, at least, my collection isn't just about how much money I spend. It's just about how much I love it, and I think that's all that really matters, to be honest. You know, you can collect your rare plants if that's what makes you happy. You know, whatever works for you. I mean, more power to you, because I mean, I totally see the hype and the will to do it, but I don't know. I like to save my money. I'm always a broke girl at heart, is what I say. But that's okay. You know, sometimes it does just pay off though to wait, because like I said, it took a couple years, but I was able to get this guy now for just a couple bucks. And I think that's just so great. But he is all potted up. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see it full. I'm not sure what pot I'm going to be putting it in, and it's still a little wobbly. Maybe pack it in a little more. I'm not sure what I'm going to put it in yet, but for now I'll just put it to the side here. Maybe get it some water, because this one was a bit dry. I'm going to set this one over here to get it watered. Then we'll move on to the next one. All right, the next plant, here, let me go ahead and get back in since that works better for these guys. All right, my next plant I'm going to repot is this variegated moon cactus, which is just looking super pretty right now. I also got this one on the same trip as the last two, my Pachypodium and my Fukuro cactus or booby cactus, and it is a happy in its little spot, and it has all these little pups. Let me see if I can get you a better view of them all. There we go. You can see there's some here. There's some coming up in the soil that you can't really see, but they're all over the place. And it's also got this flower here, and hopefully I don't disrupt that by repotting it, but it's just got to be done, and I just don't really have a whole lot of other time to wait to do it. Plus I want to put it in this video, so we're gonna just go ahead and do it, and if it loses its flower, you know, that's okay, it will grow more. But I actually want to go ahead and try and propagate some of these guys today as well, and we'll go into that a little bit more later. Yeah, I will go ahead and get this one started. This one's gonna be a little bit of a process as we go. First, I'm going to remove this guy from his pot, loosen the soil, and check the roots to get it ready for repotting. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put on my glove because this guy is really sharp. I only have one, so I'm just going to put it on this hand here, and that one's going to be my grabbing hand. And these aren't like cactus gloves or anything, so I'm just going to be really careful. So I'm just going to do this. Here we go. Stick here. Okay. Okay, sorry, my audio or my video cut out again. My camera was full, I guess. It was just crazy because I think I started with a fresh card, but that's okay. I'm gonna just repot this and then go over the things or the care info, and then I will chat with you some more about propagating it. So these guys do prefer bright and sunny windows. They like to be less than a foot away from what I hear from south-facing windows. Here's actually what I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm just gonna take this. I'm just gonna plop it here and wrap it like that so I can get a little better angles on it without being so worried. Okay, but yeah, this one likes to be within a foot of south-facing windows, and they really do not tolerate low light at all. They need the high light. I think part of this is because only the green on this plant can collect, you know, chlorophyll, and I believe that's the word. My brain is farting. But yeah, only the green parts can do that. The colorful parts cannot. So I think it just needs extra light for that reason. Just trying to get some of this off of here without disturbing the roots too much. Just like other, you know, succulents and cacti, they do generally like to dry out. They like to dry out completely between waterings. So it's best to let them fully dry and then do the soak in water to replenish moisture that cactus and succulents really like. I'm gonna jump over to this other side real quick because I'm not gonna remove any more roots, I think. Probably still need my gloves. I don't know why I took those off. Okay, so for propagating these guys, I think I'm gonna remove the two larger ones on this side. They're kind of hard to see. So give me 1 second. Alright, slide this a little way. Okay, so you can see this one here and this one here. I might even do this one down here. They are some of the bigger ones. And they have green on them. So from what I heard, you can just pop them off and set them on some soil mix, like the one I'm going to be using on this guy to repot it. And from what I understand, the fully colored variety of moon cactus, which is like the regular moon cactus, they are the ones. I'll put a picture up on the screen here. And those are the ones that you see at the store that are like a green stalk and then one of these but in colored form, like one of these guys on top, and they're usually like all yellow or orange. Got a tack in my finger there. Okay, but those ones cannot be propagated without grafting them to that green like stem-like piece, which is usually a dragon fruit plant. And that is due to them not having green color themselves. This is just based on my research. So I've never successfully propagated a regular moon cactus, let alone this variegated cactus. And to be completely honest, I haven't propagated pretty much any kind of cactus besides my rickrack cactus. So this will be an experiment, but I'm doing lots of my research on it. But due to this one being variegated and having green coloring, it sounds like it should be able to be propagated without grafting. So I think it is definitely worth a try. From what I understand is you just gently twist these guys off, or you can cut them with a clean knife. I'm going to try and twist them today because I don't really have a good clean knife on hand. And then you allow them to callus for a few days to prevent rotting. And I think it's recommended to callus for 3 to 6 days or until the wound is dry. So what I'm going to do, I'm basically just going to grab this guy and twist it. I'm trying to do it so you guys can see. And then just twist it. I'm trying not to get a spine in my finger or jab the next one. So I'm just going to do it real quick. There we go. So now we got one little baby with a very minimal scar on the back. And now I'm going to disconnect these other two And then we're gonna go ahead and repot it. There we go. Oh, got a spine on my finger that time, but it did not go through the glove, luckily. Right, we got this guy. Oh my gosh, maybe. This one is mostly green. Doesn't really want to focus. There we go. This one's mostly green. It's got some callousing on it already, but I think it'll be fine. Let's do that. And then I'm gonna get this guy, which looks like a new growth. There we go. That one was already pretty much disconnected, I think. Get some soil off of it. This one was down in the soil, kinda, so it's a little dirty, but this one's really pretty. So we'll see. Oh my gosh, maybe. There we go. But yeah, this one's really pretty. It's got like lots of orange to it and some green. So we'll see. I know the less green it has, the less chances it has of surviving. But I definitely just want to give them a try. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one too, even though I wasn't planning on it. Just because I don't really like where it is. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now I got 4 little babies. But so now that I have those disconnected, here, I'll put them on my hand. Luckily the spines are still pretty soft right now due to its size. But yeah, there we go. Now that I have these though disconnected, these little pups, I'm going to just place them on like a shelf for a few days on like a paper towel. I will probably give them a quick rinse because they're pretty dirty before doing that. So now that these pups are disconnected, I will place these on a shelf for a few days until the wounds dry on the back. I will probably put them on a paper towel and give them a rinse since they are pretty dirty. And then I will go ahead and pop them in soil, probably in another video. Unless these guys are ready to be popped on soil before this actual video goes out, which is a complete possibility because I think this video will go about a week from today. So if that's ready in time, I will go ahead and put this in at the end of the video or at the end of this where I'll pop them into some soil so you guys will be able to see that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and keep propagating. Put these guys over here for now. Sorry, I'm gonna keep repotting, not propagating. So let me keep going. So here, these guys need extremely well draining soil, and generally this is a mix of 70 to 80% mineral grit, like pumice, perlite, or coarse sand or stuff like that, with 20 to 30% soil. So what my plan is I am going to use mostly the coarse sand I have been using, and then I am going to add some chunky soil that I already have, which is going to put this in here. That should be enough. I'll have to play with it and see. We're going to do mostly that. Actually, I'm going to use more because I think I'm going to be using this pot. Okay, I think that should be good. And then I'm also gonna add like a scoop of my super chunky DIY soil. I'll talk more about it later, but it is my super chunky mix. It's got like super chunky perlite, wood bar or wood chips, and stuff like that. So I'll mix that up and there we go. It's a good mix already. And then I think the rest I'm gonna just do this other soil, the succulent cactus soil I've been using. So I'm just gonna put like a scoop of that in. Okay. I think that is a pretty good, let's just see, pretty good ratio of chunky grit to soil, I think. So, all you cactus people, that if any of you are watching this, just let me know if that's a decent mix or if I should have done more. Like I've said before, this is kind of my first rodeo for the most part with like cactuses in general, other than like my rickrack cactus. I've just never been good with them, and so I kind of just never really tried. I mean, And there's the other side. There's a lot of just like regular like cactuses that they're not really my style. And maybe they will be. Maybe this will all turn me on to cactuses. I guess we'll find out. If I start popping up with a lot more, you guys will be the ones to know. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting this in here. And it is gonna, of course, fall through the bottom quite a bit as I start. So I'm just gonna hold it over this bowl. Okay. Try not to poke myself because I don't feel like wearing my glove anymore. I think like that should be good. Like I said before, luckily the spines aren't super sharp right now. Otherwise this might not go as well. I'm sorry, my camera just doesn't want to focus properly today, so you might just be getting a lot of weird fuzzy shots here and there. Ow! Stabbed myself. Okay. Alright. I think that I have to add some more. Shimmied it and more is needed. I mean, that's why I do, as many others say, and smack, shimmy, shake. You know, make sure your soil gets settled. Or you're gonna go watering it and then you're gonna wonder where all the soil went, but that's because there was a bunch of pockets that just for whatever reason didn't get them. And when you miss out on the little shake and shimmy, sometimes that's just all it needs. All right, there we go. So that one, here we are. It's all repotted. It's got a few less babies, as you can see, but I hope that'll help it. It's growing quite a few more, so I think it'll be fine. Some more, but yeah, yay! One more down. So I'm gonna clean up some more again, and then we can move on to the next. And like I said, if the babies are, little pups are ready to be put into soil before this video goes out, I will actually add it to right after this clip. So we'll see. If not, we will move on to the next plant right after I clean up. Okay, so it is about a week later. I mean, it hasn't been quite a week. But you can see these guys are all dried out on the bottom. Callus, so they should be good. This one you can see it does have a little bit of some dark coloration there. So we'll see how it does, but we are gonna just go ahead. I have some soil here in my little tiny pot. This is the same soil I was using the other day. So it is the cactus succulent soil mixed with just some sand. So I think that'll be fine for this. So I think basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this a little wet. I'm just gonna get it damp so that these guys don't rot or anything too fast. I think that should be good. And then I think you just basically plop these like this. I might be doing it wrong, so I'm just gonna do this and then I'm gonna look it up just to be sure I did it right. Since this is my first time doing that. I'm gonna propagate them all in here together, and then if I need to later, I will go ahead and repot them to their own pots. Okay, there we go. I will keep you guys updated in my next update video on how these go. And I'll also post it on social media if you follow me there. And I will just keep you guys updated on if this works out or what went wrong or anything at all. All right, we can go on to the next plant now. All right, I had to move the camera slightly because these next ones are some big boys. So we have my rickrack cactus and this other rickrack cactus. I know they are kind of hard to see. For whatever reason, the lighting is not great. Maybe I'll shut the back blinds a little bit. My belly. Just gonna close them a little. Did that help any? Kinda. Alright, we're gonna have to just go with it. Here, I'm gonna just zoom in just a little bit. Alright, here is my rickrack cactus. Hopefully that looks okay for you guys. So I have two of them here, and I'm gonna go ahead and combine them with each other. But this rickrack cactus here, this big one, has been in my collection since the very beginning. It is a part of the cuttings that I first ordered on Etsy a few months into my plant journey. And it has been with me ever since. And with that, I haven't repotted it in several years now, probably since like right after I propagated them. And it is in the same pot, same soil. But that is okay because rickrack cactuses do only like to be repotted like every couple years. So I don't think too much harm has come from it. And so my goal here today is I'm going to be repotting this one because it's just not looking great. It could be doing a lot better. And I'm going to be adding this one that I started rooting from cuttings from this other one. I think it was sometime last year that I cut them. And then they really took off over the winter. So I'm just going to combine the two to give it that fuller look. And then I also have one less plant to worry about. So that's always a perk. But yeah, this cactus here, this rickrack cactus, is obviously not the happiest compared to the cuttings in this one, which are looking good and thriving in their current conditions. So this one, I really just want to let it just start trailing, and I just never really had the space. So every time it would start growing long, I would cut it all back. And sometimes I would do cuttings, not very often. I do have one other plant that I have from cuttings, and it's a mixture of like aloe, this rickrack cactus, and some other thousands. It's just like a little succulent cactus mix, which is really pretty. But yeah, this one just has never looked very good. And this last summer, it was on our back patio at our other house, and it was the favorite snack for the grasshoppers. So I can kind of show you later, but there's like little pieces throughout that are just beat up because they were so just snacked on. And there were just so many grasshoppers because we lived in the grasslands. So they were just like everywhere, and they really just kind of ravaged this guy. So he's got so many different or messed up, damaged leaves, and he's just a complete mess. So by the time I brought him inside, I had to cut a lot of it back just to get rid of a lot of that damage. But there's still some present to this day. But I'm hoping a good repot and a summer outside will do her good. So luckily we live in an apartment now, and we're on a higher floor, so grasshoppers won't be as easy to get this one. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pull this one out of the pot first, and then I will pull the other one out of the pot and combine them. But I need to give myself a little space real quick to get that done. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. Like I've said, this one has been in this pot for years now, so I'm not sure what the conditions are gonna be. All right, not too terrible. I think it is pretty dry and crazy right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go over some care tips while I'm going ahead and taking care of this guy. So they thrive in bright indirect light or filtered direct sunlight, but they do like to avoid harsh direct afternoon light. This can kind of burn the leaves. Mine is currently in the plant room. I think it is might be so compact I might not be able to do much about it, But anyways, yeah, this one is in the plant room right now. It doesn't get a crazy amount of light, and it does some decent growing, but it could be better. I think it needs more like light from up above, and right now it's just getting light from mostly the sides in the plant room. But I might be putting it, I think I'm going to be putting it, on the back patio this summer. I think, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have to just leave it because this thing is so compact. And I don't want to damage it too much. But, all right, I'll get to this other one. Let's see. Rickrack cacti generally need to be watered more often than your average like desert cacti. They do prefer to be watered just when the top 1 to 2 inches of soil is dry instead of letting them dry out completely. And even though they tend to need more water, they are still pretty prone to root rot. So you want to make sure that they have proper drainage. And yeah, just try and get this a little more. I think it's just really compact. I'm trying to save these leca balls. The leca balls that come out because they're still good to use, and I actually need them right now for another project. So I'm just gonna do that, and then I will go ahead and I think what I normally do is just soak them in some peroxide and then soak them in water, and this usually, if there is any bacteria or anything gross on them, that should help get them out. I think you can also just boil them. But I honestly, I just don't really have any pans that I can put rocks in to boil because, yeah, we just have some nice pans. Okay, I think this thing is super root bound and nothing else is really coming out of it. So we're gonna go ahead and just let it be right there. Oh my gosh. I always do this. I always forget to take off my ring, so I'm gonna maybe do that. There we go. So fun fact about these rickrack cactuses is they are epiphytic cactus and not desert cactus. This one and my next two are like that, where they are called cactuses, but it does generally confuse people because when people hear cactus, they think of your average like desert cactus, like the moon cactus I repotted. But these guys are actually more like they grow on the sides of trees. And they like to be a little more moist over being dry because they're usually like in the rainforest. Yeah. They usually grow aerial roots, which if you've had these guys you'll have seen. They just kind of randomly come out. They're not usually too crazy, but when they're happy they usually start coming out of like the ends to like add support, because in the wild they would grip onto trees with that. And from what I've heard, these guys can bloom under good conditions. I personally have never seen that happen, but like I've said, I cut them back pretty frequently, and I also don't, or haven't in the past, given them proper sunlight, and so I'm definitely trying to change that. So maybe I will see a bloom or something this year. Just trying to, this one's not as root bound, because these ones, like I've said previously, I propagated them last year. I started them in water, and then as soon as they had roots, I put it in soil and just kind of let it do its thing. So they've only been in here for a little while, but oh goodness, yeah. I mostly propagated these ones to go with the other ones, to go into that one to make it fuller eventually, but now I am finally getting around to it. I just ended up not having a chance to repot it when they first rooted. Okay, there we go. Oh my goodness. Cactus down. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna touch that soil too. I'm not currently planning on reusing any of the soil. I usually do, but with my current situation of like thrips and stuff, while these guys, I have never seen them get the thrips or anything really. I just don't want to risk it in case they're hanging around the soil. So I'm gonna wash my hands real quick and then we'll move on to the, all right. And for soil, for these guys, you do want a well draining mix, such as succulent, cactus soil blended with orchid bark or perlite. So I'm going to be using some more of the cactus succulent soil. I'm going to put it in a different bowl because this one's got stuff in it and it's probably not big enough anyways. So I'm going to use, ouch, poke myself again, this bowl here. I'm going to go ahead and move this guy out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this bowl here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking my succulent, I'm going to be taking my succulent cactus soil that I've been using. We're going to use a pretty decent amount of that. And then since it does like it to be a little chunkier and well draining, I am going to add some of my DIY extra chunky mix. That one is usually a mix of chunky orchid bark, fine and coarse perlite, biochar, worm castings. I believe that's all that might be in it right now. Let's see. Yeah, that's currently what's in it. A lot of times I'll put whatever I can find in it. This is like my chunky soil mix for like things that don't like to have too much like dirt. Like I do use this one usually for like my Thai constellation and other stuff like that. It's also a great mix. It does work pretty well for like orchids and such. I'm going to use my stick to start this time since it's so full. This is a pretty good mix though. I think I got the ratios pretty good. It should keep it well draining, but also have some moisture retention that these guys like, but not too much moisture retention at the same time. It's not working really well, so I'm just gonna wrist cramp. Okay. Anyways, that should be a perfect mix there. I just need to figure out what I'm gonna be putting this into, especially because I couldn't break the root ball up on that one too much. I'm gonna actually go ahead and try a little more because this is definitely gonna be a pain to try and repot. And stuff like this, it's mostly just hard to find the big enough pot size because I just only have so many pots hanging around that are bigger. Try and keep my plants in a bit smaller pots because I know a lot of them prefer to be a little more root bound. Oh my goodness. Okay. I definitely don't think I'm going to be getting much more out of that unless I spend a bunch of time, and I don't really feel like doing that today. So I think it'll be okay. I'm going to just go grab whatever big pot I can find and I'll be right back. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay. I think that'll be okay just because I am combining the two plants. So I'm going to try and see if I can let you guys see it. It's kind of an awkward big pot. So you can see it's not the usual nursery pot I'd use, but it does have drainage holes on the bottom. So that should be good. Get some of this. So this pot was used in the past, so there is some soil in the bottom of it. So I'm just going to kind of see if I can get some of it off. My cat is currently screaming. She has been in cleaning mode lately. And so she gets concerned whenever she can't find me or Dad, but Dad's currently at work. So just Mom is home. There we go. That's really much helped. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to put a decent amount of this just down the bottom. Actually, I'm going to do all of that. I'm going to make more. Whoops. So probably need to go up a little further. But real quick while I'm thinking about it, I can show you some of the grasshopper damage. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So like, let's see, right here, you can see like this piece. It's kind of hard to see, I know. It's like all chomped up. And then there's like this one right here. See where that big round chunk is missing? That is like, I'm pretty sure it's grasshopper damage. I don't really know what else would have done it, like what else would have eaten the plant, but I honestly don't really know. Zoom back out. I'm gonna make more soil, then we're gonna just keep going. Kind of have a mess going on here, but we will make it work. So there's the succulent cactus mix again. Some of this. And I do have like plenty of succulent and cactus mix. I just only have so much in that one thing. So we will not run out, I promise. There we go. Put a little bit more of this down in here. And I know a lot of these usually like to be pretty shallow, but they're just gonna have to do because this is what I've got right now. Okay, so I'm gonna put, I think, do this one like this. I think I'm gonna take some cuttings off of it just to make it a little less unruly here. Excuse me. So since I'm gonna put this other one on this side, I think I'm gonna just chop this guy off here. I know you guys can't really see it very well, but just bear with me. I'm just kind of making some room so the other guys don't feel very, oh my gosh, crowded at the top here. So, I'm gonna see if I can separate these guys a little bit more. There we go. This will just help me with trying to put them in the plot here. There we go. There we go. That should be a huge help. Okay. So these guys here, I'm gonna put on like the side maybe. So what I'm gonna do, this actually just needs some extra soil below it. I'm gonna grab my soil scoop for this. Okay. Okay. It just needs a little extra soil below though, so I'm just gonna get that there, like that maybe. Okay, put that there. So I'm gonna do that. And these guys are just gonna go like along the edges and stuff here. So we have to make even more soil since this is such a big pot, but yeah. That in there. Some more soil, here we come. I'm gonna go ahead and speed this up though, you know, so you don't have to sit here and watch because it is quite the process. Okie dokie. One more round of soil, I think. And we should be good. I'm just gonna clean this up ever so slightly because it is a mess. Do you guys ever get just like halfway through repotting and just sit there wondering what you're doing with your life and the mess you're making and that you'll have to clean it up in no time? I'm not sure if this will work. But I'm just gonna put these, I think, just in here to see if they do propagate. Because if they don't, they don't. But it would be nice if they did, because extra bushiness. Whoopsies. I guess we'll see what happens. Might have broken my bowl. we'll find out. Well, I don't know when that cut out. Hopefully not too long ago. I'm just repotting my Rickrock cactus. I'm trying to get it going. I don't know if you saw this part, so I'm just taking some of these cuttings and I'm gonna just put them in here. It might not do anything, but they might also root. I guess we'll find out shortly. I think we're good. I know that took a minute, but this guy is repotted and you can't really see it very well. So I will go ahead and just put a picture up on the screen of what it looks like. I mean, it's definitely looking like 10 times better than what it did earlier. Now that it's got all these extra planty parts in it. And I think it'll just kind of take off now. But yeah, I think it'll do good. And it probably will really enjoy its place on the back patio now. Now that it's got all this extra room to just spread and grow. You know, this one has been through a lot in my collection, so I'm just really hoping that this repot helps it just reset and just start thriving again. Because I do really love this one. I just think it's so cool and unique. You know, when I bought this guy, I was just really hoping to kind of get into succulents, and then I just kind of never went that way. Or not succulents, cactuses. I just really wanted to get into them, so I thought at the beginning if I bought one of these guys that I would become a cactus person. And it isn't from lack of trying. I think I just, personally, I have a very hard time with keeping cactuses alive. But I am going to go ahead and get this guy water so it's super dry, and I'm going to then clean up my work area, and then we just have 2 more plants to repot, so we're super close. I just wanted to share this with you guys because I think it's pretty crazy. Oh my gosh, I'm spilling water. You can see how thirsty this plant really was. Just watch. I filled it up and she just inhaled the water. Like, look at that. Super thirsty. I definitely had this guy a little too dry for what they're normally used to, so I need to be better about watering it, but you can tell that it is a thirsty one. Alright, now I think it might be done at least chugging the water. It's probably going to just slowly suck it up now. But I just thought, I wanted to share that with you guys because I just thought that was so crazy. Like how fast it just like glugged it up. So I'm just going to move it. I'm going to clean up and then we'll get started some more. Next, I am going to be doing, doing my spring cactus. This is also known as an Easter cactus. And I just want to refresh it, give it some new soil and room to grow and expand for this season. I've had this guy for about 1 to 2 months now. I believe I just got it a few weeks before Easter. It's looking pretty good, but if you look at it close enough, you can see where my cat has just had a time with it because it is in a spot. I'll try and show you. It's in a spot. She can kind of get to it. So you can see like there's a little chompy out of it. There's got a little chomp out of it. And a couple others. So it can be kind of a pain. But I do not know how to stop my little monster kitty from eating some of these. So that's why I only put the ones that are safe out here. It had the cutest little flowers when I got it. So I will put a picture up here, right here. They were so cute and they lasted a few weeks before they fell off. So fun fact about these flowers that I found out pretty early on, like when I first got it, that I thought was just super cool is that they do open and close like throughout the day depending on the light. Generally though, it's they are open in the morning and then they close up in the afternoon, which is just super cool to watch. And I think it's super unique because I don't know of many flowers that actually do that, where they open and close with the time. So I just think that's super fun. This guy is often mislabeled as a succulent, but it is in fact more of a tropical epiphytic cactus. They grow similar to orchids, or like the rickrat cactus, where they grow off of the sides of trees. And so they like to stay a little more moist. And I mean, even though they are, you know, epiphytic and tropical, they are still a cactus. They just are not a desert cactus, which is what makes them a little more unique. They do prefer bright indirect sunlight, but do avoid like scorching direct sun, especially in the afternoon. So an east-facing window is usually ideal. Mine is currently near an east-facing window, and it's like within a few feet of it, but it also has a northeast glass door right beside it, so it does get a decent amount of light. It's usually on the shelf like right here behind me, so it does get quite a bit of light out here still. It seems like it's pretty root bound. It does not want to come out of this mixture. I always hate disturbing plants too much, so I'm probably not going to disturb this one anymore. It's just my biggest fear is hurting the plant and it dying or something, because I just went to town way too hard. So I'm just going to leave it as it is. I'm going to put it in a slightly bigger pot. Oh my goodness. My nose just got all itchy. Does your guys' nose do that when you're like in the middle of something and your hands are all dirty? It just gets the craziest itches. That's better. So a little more care info on this guy though really quick while I'm doing this. I'm going to go ahead and put it in, I think, a slightly bigger pot. Because I don't like to be like that should work. They don't want too much space to grow. They like to stay a little more compact. But these guys do need some airy, porous, well-draining soil. So I'm going to be using some high porous, well-draining mix. So usually you can just use like a cactus succulent soil blended with orchid bark and perlite to allow the roots to breathe. So I'm just going to be using the same mix that I just used on my rickrat cactus, and that is going to be the cactus succulent soil, some sand, and my chunky soil mix. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that started, and I'll just keep going. So I'm going to be using this pot. It is the one that the smaller rickrat cactus was in, so I'm just going to go ahead and reuse that. And I'm going to make the soil really quick, and then we'll get back to this. So I've got the soil here. I'm just going to mix it up really fast. I may or may not have to make more, but it's okay. I don't usually pre-make my soil for my cactuses, just because, like I've said, I didn't have very many up until very recently. And the only one I did have was more of a tropical succulent anyways, or truculent cactus. So I liked a different type of soil. But yeah, I mean, maybe now that I have all these guys on hand, I will keep some mixed up. But generally speaking, I am only repotting these guys like once every year, or even more spread out, just depending on the plant. It's okay. I never mind just making some soil really fast. But yeah, so anyways, more grow or caring tips on these guys is for watering. They do prefer to stay consistently like moist, but they don't want to be waterlogged. So you usually want to water these guys anytime like the top 1 to 2 inches dries out. So you don't want to like water them too often, but you also don't want to like hold off on watering like you would like a normal cactus.
because, like I've said, these guys are tropical, and with growing on the sides of trees, they kind of just expect, move this out of the way, they kind of just expect more moisture over like your other given cactuses. So with this plant, I mean, I generally like to treat these guys a little bit more like my, you know, tropical plants. Just in that sense, like while they're still cactuses, and they still like a lot of the same things that cactuses like, they are also quite different in like a lot of the facts that they do flower, which is a normal thing for cactuses, but like they don't, I feel like, I would say they're just more closely related to an orchid of sorts, or like the riprap cactus and stuff like that. These guys are just a little more on the tropical end, and so they just want to stay moist. I mean, these are, I'm imagining, I haven't done any research on this, but I imagine that since these guys are very similar to orchids and they do grow on trees in the wild, they are probably one of those ones that you could put on a piece of cork wood with some moss. But don't quote me on that. I would definitely research it first, because I've never done one of those, like the cork and moss things. I would love to, but I just personally, I don't really have the space. I live in an apartment, and I don't want to hang a lot of stuff on the walls because I don't know how long we'll actually be here, because our lease is currently up in January. I mean, it's April now, so it's not like we don't have time, but I just hate when we have to move and there's so much stuff to take down and pack. So unless we decide to stay here longer, my plan is just to kind of only do what I need to make my plants happy. So maybe one day though, when we have our own house and stuff, or we're in a place for longer, I can experiment and make one of those, or maybe I'll just give in and do it anyways, because I've been wanting a staghorn fern, and I know that you can do that with those, and so I would definitely just love to do that. But yeah, these guys, some fun tips about them really fast, even though I got it all repotted up. Easter cactuses, or spring cactus, whatever you want to call it, they are different than Thanksgiving and Christmas cactuses. I know they all get a little bit confused because the leaves are so similar, and the growth and the flowers and everything, but these ones are different than that. The blooms are a little more star-shaped over the like Thanksgiving cactus and Christmas cactuses. I will, when I repot my Thanksgiving cactus in the next little bit here, I'll show you a flower for that one too, and you'll be able to see the difference kind of. These guys are also native to Brazilian forest, and they naturally grow attached to trees and mossy surfaces, so humidity does help these guys thrive. Their compact roots mean that they don't need huge pots, and so often repotting isn't, you know, suggested when they're blooming or anything, because it can be stressful. This guy, I did go up at like 1 inch in pot size, and I don't think that'll be a big problem, so that should be good. Cooler temperatures do help encourage for future blooms, and the bloom cycle is triggered by light and temperature changes, but they do generally bloom in the spring, which is why they are given the name. They're spring cactus or Easter cactus, because those two just kind of line up together. But yeah, too much. There you go. But yeah, it's super pretty looking, and I'm excited to see it do more. I'll show you this crazy little leaf too, if I can, because it's just super cool. I don't know if it'll let me though. There's like a leaf right here. It is star-shaped. Let me see if I can get a better video with my phone really quick. Yeah, look at that guy. You can see it's like a crazy little star-shaped leaf, and I don't know if that's normal, because the rest of them are just pretty basic leaves, but that guy, he is pretty crazy looking. If I can, there we go. Yeah. So this guy's all done. I'm gonna water him next once this other one is done watering, because there's no room in that one. But all right, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up, and then we can get on to the last plant. All right, lastly, I'm going to repot my Thanksgiving cactus. I know you can't see it really well, but I wanted to show off the pot. It is a pot I got at I got it at Hobby Lobby and their spring collection. I just thought it was so cute. It's a giant teacup with an attached saucer. I just think that's so much fun. You can see it's got a drainage hole in the bottom there. But yeah, I mean, I think, I don't usually do this, but I think I'm going to repot the Thanksgiving cactus into this one just because I really like this one and I want to keep using it. Almost always I would plant something into a nursery pot and then put it in here. But I don't have a nursery pot that will fit in this very well. And I just really want to use it. And this one, it didn't even fit in it that well because, like, as you can see, like, it fits, but it's stuck out at the top, like almost a half an inch to an inch. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that, I think. So I'm gonna set this to the side for now, and then we'll do that. But yeah, this is my Thanksgiving cactus. This one has been doing pretty well since I got it around Thanksgiving this last year. Take my label out. I don't know if you can read it, but it says "Pretty Fly for a Cacti," which is just so cute. But yeah, I'm going to. Anyways, this one has been in my collection since last Thanksgiving, and it has these, or it had these beautiful, or like bright reddish pink blooms. I'll put up another picture here so you guys can see those, and you can also see how they're slightly different than the Easter cactus's blooms. But they are just so pretty, and I love the way they look. But for these ones, some more educational stuff to go with it as I start repotting it. Oh my gosh, okay. They're very similar to the spring and Easter cactus, but you know, as I've said earlier, these are different plants. This one, it all is a Thanksgiving cactus, but it also goes by the name crab claw cactus, and it by its scientific name, which I cannot pronounce. But they are very similar to the spring cactus and are commonly mistaken as succulents, even though they are more like desert cactuses. But they are more tropical epiphytes as well, and they also grow on trees in the wild, again similar to orchids, the spring cactus and the rickrat cactus. But given its cactus name and look, I also decided that it could be repotted in this video, just like the last one. I figure they are still cactuses and they may not need the same type of care, but they do need repotted right now. And so I figured it would just be alright to include them in this video. I don't think I'm going to remove much soil off of this one either, to be honest. But yeah, these guys, they do prefer bright indirect light, but avoid direct sunlight. This can scorch the leaves and turn them red. But some people do intentionally sun stress the plant to get the red colors, but generally it's not recommended, as that is an indication that the plant is stressed out and we need a better environment. So it may not flower or thrive if it's given those conditions and nothing is improved. And while it might be fine, and I know a lot of people just like to sun stress their plants because they give out some really pretty colors, and in fact I have several plants that I have sun stressed myself. But those ones don't usually mind it that much. While these guys, it sounds like they might be just a little more sensitive to the stress. So I guess that is just a personal preference on how you do it. If you want those red, bright colors, but don't care as much about flowering or anything like that, you can definitely go ahead and do that. I personally am probably not going to attempt the red colors just because I do want it to flower. Because I love the flowers just so much on these guys. This guy, it is currently kept in or near the spring cactus, and I'll probably keep it in that spot unless I change my mind and put it outside or something this summer. But it is usually on the shelf behind me here too. I'll zoom out a little so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, So it's usually on this shelf back behind me. It's usually really close to the island here. I think you guys have seen it in a few videos now. And while it's not like directly in an east facing window, these two windows over here on this side, if you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see, but the window back behind this plant and the one next to it are east facing windows, and they bring in a lot of light. And then there's two windows on this other wall that are two south facing windows that also shine in a lot of light. And then there's the back door that is glass, and that one is also like a northeast facing. So between all of those, this room gets plenty of like ambient light throughout the day, and they seem to grow fine. I noticed a lot of new growth on them. I've even took some cuttings, which I am actually going to be putting in here. I completely forgot, so let me grab those. Hey. I took these cuttings at the beginning of April, and they're all rooted up pretty nicely. So I am going to put them in here just to give it some more full look, and just because. But yeah, I took these cuttings, and I honestly, I don't even, or I guess they're more or less cuttings, and you kind of just twist them off. You can kind of see the roots here. Look at all those roots on that, guys. Wow. Okay. But yeah, you can see, you can't even really see where I took them off. There's so much new growth in just the last few weeks. So I think it's fine where it's at. And then like in, I think it's like October, you're supposed to move them into a darker space where they get, like, I think it's like 16 hours of light a day, or sorry, a night, like no light a day. And that is that kind of encourages it to bloom. But we'll see. I'll see what it does. I've heard people get them to bloom just fine without doing that. But this is my first season of actively getting them to bloom myself, or this fall will be. So I am definitely curious to see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna do this real quick. The Thanksgiving cactuses, they do prefer a very similar mix to the last two ones, the spring and rickrat cactus. So again, I'm going to be using that same mix in here. I'm also going to put some kind of drainage, kind of netting. Let's see. I'm just going to like take this netting that I have. I've used it in, or shown it in preview videos. I don't think I've actually used it before, like on camera. So I'm going to do that. I'm just going to put some of this right on top of it. So this will allow, oh my goodness, crazy cats. Anyways, that will allow water to get through, but it'll keep, since that drainage hole was so big, it'll keep the roots and dirt from going in there. So I'm just gonna pop this guy, I think I'll need to take some soil off real quick before that'll work. So let me go ahead and do that. Oh. Now we'll see how it does in this pot. I just really like it, so I'm just gonna see if I can make it work. Oh my goodness, this soil is super compact. It might damage a little bit of roots, but you know, sometimes that's okay. Just need to get a little bit less height to the guy here. Make sure I can get in there all the way just fine, because these guys, like I've said before too with the spring cactus, they don't really like huge pots since they are used to growing on the sides of trees. They do like it to be a little more minimal, I think. Yeah, see if that's better. Almost. There we go. That should be perfect. I think, honestly, I'm going to put these guys in their own pot, because since I am just doing it to make this work, because I really want to use this pot for this, there's just not really any room. There's like an inch on the sides maybe, and I think that will be better for soil than it will be to make these others fit in there. So I'll do that here in just a second. But these guys, also, again, I mean, Most of the care and everything is exactly the same as a spring cactus that we had, and the regret cactus too, that we've already talked about. But I will go over some basic things again. Like this one, it does like to stay pretty moist, but not waterlogged. So you only want to water it when the top 1 to 2 inches of soil are dry. And it is also prone to root rot still, so you want to ensure that, you know, you're not leaving it like really, really wet. Even though they're tropical, you know, like most tropical plants, they don't want to be soaked. Okay. Get just a little bit more soil, but we're super close. Okay. Get this done. My cat is over here begging for food because it's dinner time, and I'm taking up the dinner space. Alrighty. Get some of the dirt out of the little pot here that just got in there. Perfect. I know it's kind of hard to see, so again, I'll put up a quick picture here of what it looks like. But I love it. Yay! I'm so happy I got it in my my teacup. Put this right here, like that. So that one's all done, and now I'm gonna try and hurry up and finish up with this last one because, like I said, it's getting kind of late. It's already 7:30. I did start this video a little late, like start recording a bit late. I didn't start till like, it was like 3 o'clock, I think, this afternoon, and I did have to take like an hour-long break because my camera died. Oh, one last look. But yeah, I think it went pretty good. It only took a few hours all together. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these ones up too. I think I'm just gonna put them in this guy here. I'm sorry, my computer's in a lot of these shots too. I'll try and edit them out a little bit, but I was just using it for all my notes because I have a hard time remembering all the little like care details just off the top of my head. I'm gonna finish up some fun facts about these Thanksgiving cactuses while I finish repotting this guy. Here, I'll zoom in too for this one. So, let's see, some soil in here. Thanksgiving cactuses are often confused with Christmas cactus, and like I said earlier, with spring cactuses as well. They do resemble Christmas cactuses, I think, a little more like closely over like Easter cactuses. They do just have like a little bit of different shape than the Easter cactuses, so that does kind of help because these guys have, I don't know if you can kind of see, but like more of a claw shape here, which is where they get that like crab claw cactus name as well, is because they do have like little claws almost. So that's really cool. These guys are also native to Brazilian rainforests, and they also do grow on trees and mossy surfaces. And so, you know, just like with spring cactuses, the humidity does help quite a bit. The more humidity they have, usually the happier these guys are. Cooler temperatures and longer nights can trigger blooms. And like I said earlier too, stressing from light changes the way that the buds form. It can change the color. If it stresses too hard, it will just not form any blooms at all. And it could also die, just depending. A lot of them, like I said before too, they do just fine with the sun stressing, and they just don't bloom. But you know, I think that they can do pretty much anything with, like, plants are pretty spectacular in that way. Like, even if they're not supposed to do something, sometimes they just do, you know, given the right love and care. They generally do prefer stable environments though, especially once they start budding, and to begin budding. If they get too stressed out, the buds will just drop before they even bloom, or they just won't form at all. My goodness. Okay. And I think that's pretty much all the fun facts I have on these guys. Let me know if you know of anything else that makes these guys kind of unique. I do love to learn new things about plants. I mean, honestly, about any of the plants in this video. If you guys know any cool facts about them, you should tell me, because I just love to hear them. Because I feel like a lot of times stuff like this there's not shared too often. A lot of the tips I see on these cactuses is just how to get them to bloom. But I want to know more. I want to know, like, cool facts, and even if they're not relevant to, like, them growing, I just always love to learn. Oh goodness. Just trying to get dirt in between each layer. I think that should be good there. And I'll probably put this one back in the pot that the spring cactus was in. And who knows, maybe this one I will allow to sun stress just to see what it looks like. I mean, I did, if you watched my plant shopping video, oh my god, I forgot one. See if I can get it in there. If you watched my plant shopping video, I went to Bath, the local garden nursery in Fort Collins. And they did have, they were labeled Christmas cactuses, but they look just like Thanksgiving cactuses, but they were super red, and it was really cool. I'll put a picture here if you didn't watch that video, but if you didn't, I would just highly suggest watching it, because if you're like me, I can't get enough of plant shopping videos, because, oh my gosh, it helps me get that shopping bug out without actually shopping myself sometimes. Especially when I'm trying to save money. But, you know, we all know, though, that this makes you want to go buy plants. So I am not a good one to speak on saving money, because, I mean, I did go to the plant stores to just kind of do a video and more or less buy plants. It was less of a plant shopping, as it was just like a see what my plant stores have near me. And it definitely turned into more of a plant actual shopping video. So, you know, it happens to all of us. I don't feel too bad about it. I mean, I got some really cool plants, including some that were on my wish list. So I think it was a winning situation there. There we go. Got that one in there. Perfect. And it looks so cute. I'm pretty sure that I took, yeah, okay. So this is the pot that the spring cactus is in. So I'm going to put it back in the decorative pot that it was using, because it's just so cute. I found this, I think it's a vintage pot. I feel like maybe, I tried to do some research on it, because I got it at the thrift store, and it's just super cute. But what I understand is it might be from like the 1970s, I want to say. Oh, no, 1980s. It actually says it right here. It's from somewhere called Solar Pottery Co. And it says 85 is when it was made. And I think it was handmade too. Just given the little scratching right here that they did, it looks like someone hand scratched it. I did kind of have to repaint this top part because it was broken in pieces all along the top. But I think it turned out super cute still. I didn't really paint anything else other than this orange on top. And you can kind of tell because it doesn't match the orange on these mushrooms, because it was the same color. But yeah, anyways, this guy is super cute, my little mushroom pot. And so I'm going to put this guy back in this one, since the spring cactus isn't using it anymore. And I am going to go ahead and clean up.
All right, here are all of these guys together that I repotted today. You can see that a lot of them look like they're doing pretty good. The String-of-Rubies, I am still questioning their survival. Like this one back here, I don't know if it's going to propagate. It's really floppy. These guys, I feel like they might do fine because they're really plump right now and they had roots, but we'll see. This guy is looking good. And here are the babies. And then we've got my Fukuro cactus, and it's a little bit of squishedness. So hopefully that one recovers. And this one should go to its new home in just a couple days. So that is exciting. But yeah, there they are. They all just look so cute. And hopefully they do super well this summer. All right, well, I think that is going to wrap up today's cactus and succulent repotting marathon. Hopefully now everyone is a little more prepared for the summer growing season and ready to start putting out some new growth. I love doing these seasonal reset videos because it gives me a chance to check in on the collection, refresh soil, inspect roots, and just make sure everything is healthy before summer fully kicks in. I'm especially excited to see how some of these plants do over the next few months, especially the rickrack cactus, the moon cactus, and its pups, and like my Fukuro cactus, wherever it is, just since it did get beat up a bit, and hopefully getting some really pretty stress coloring on my String-of-Rubies, and hopefully that one also survives since it was a little more beat up than I originally thought. If you enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below to join me for more planty content here in the Patronus plant room. And if you have any tips on propagating moon cactus pups or getting any of these cacti to thrive during the summer, definitely leave anything down below in the comments. And like I said earlier, if you just have any tips at all on cactuses, since this is my kind of a newer obsession of mine in the plant world, definitely let me know down below. I always love hearing what works for you guys and just learning new things. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next planty video.